Hello, everybody, and welcome back for another episode of Don't Talk If You Don't Know, the unofficial official podcast dedicating to covering all things high-level North American teamfight tactics. My name is Frodan, and today I am not just your host, but I am joined by a special guest. We don't have him on very often, but when he does, it's a great time. It's Gangly here to co-host alongside me because Bryce is traveling for the Esports World Cup for his own work. Gangly, how you doing?
Good. I'm glad to be on. It's my first time replacing Bryce on the show. I think I've been on here a handful. Actually, no, that's not even true. But regardless, happy to be on. Thanks for having me, Dan.
We've had Gangly on before. You covered for me when I was on taking like one episode off for paternity leave. We've had you on to cover the summit. But this is the first time we've ever had Gangly on to preview an episode, which is important because Gangly, every time we fantasy draft, comes in our little group chat and be like, dude, how could you skip Amdi? Dude, how can you skip Soulless? Dude, how can you skip Bruce Law? And like, he's always making fun of us for our picks, and it's like as if we like missed the easiest draft of all time. So tonight it's time to put up or shut up, Gangly.
That's right. I'm ready. I'm ready to prove myself. It'll be fun.
That's going to be the second half of the show, which is going to be really fun. We also have two special guests as well. The first is for the very first time joining us, and a person that you might not see reveal his cam very often. It is Showtime. You might know him as Emmett Woes in chat. Showtime, welcome to the show.
What's up?
Why are you laughing?
I mean, I saw Bossoskills laughing, so I just laughed too.
I see.
Yeah.
So welcome to the show. Why don't you introduce yourself in case no one has seen you before?
My name is Showtime. My in-game name is Emmett Woes, which is Showtime backwards. I think I'm one of the favorites for this upcoming cup, and I'm here to give my insights on my thoughts on the set.
All right, great. You got through that without laughing, and so did Bossoskills. All right, sounds good. Sunglasses on. Amazing. All right, Bossoskills, welcome to the show, our second special guest. You've been here before, but this time you're on with Showtime. So how you doing? How's life?
Doing pretty well. I've been, not really playing that much TFT since the last time I've come on, but happy to be on with such an energetic co-guest, I guess. Maybe if he is a little bit delusional, but take some of the bad with the good.
All right, give me some context of how long you've known Showtime, and where do you think he is on his TFT journey? Because I would say that Showtime isn't the most reliable narrator in TFT when it comes to evaluating how good he is. Because sometimes he is actually in good form, but sometimes he's just chatting it up. So talk to me a little bit about Showtime.
I'm fantastic right now.
So I mean, I met him probably around a year and a half ago. In terms of TFT, like set 7. Sure, set 7. I thought it was 6.5, but set 7.
Oh, maybe 6.5.
That's 2 years.
Sounds around that time. And I think he was definitely better then than he is now. In like the scheme of things, definitely in terms of like ladder rank. He was kind of supposed to be like the next big prodigy before he got dwarfed by Wajan Iverson, but it's all good. He's up next, so hopefully he can show a little comeback in this tournament and truly become the next big prodigy he was meant to be back in set 6.
All right, Showtime, you kind of winced at the mention of Wajan Iverson's name.
He's just saying that because he thinks it's like funny to like put his friends down or something. Dude, I've been a prodigy. And I still am a prodigy. I'm pretty sure I'm one of the favorites to win this cup. I've improved a lot since last time I competed, which is set 10, early set 10. And I'm pretty sure I'm a beast right now.
Okay.
Wait, where are you on ladder right now?
Okay, well, I was top 10 yesterday until I decided to I was gonna try fast nining every single game, and then I went 8-8-5, 8-8-5-8 or something, and now I'm back to 800 LP.
Oh, is the variance correction?
Yeah, I was just practicing the line for tournament in case I had a fast 9 line. Yeah.
I see. Okay, so you mean you're loses improve. You're learning a lot. You're improving a lot.
Yeah.
You feel like you're one of
Yeah.
the favorites, and that's
For
going to be
sure.
exciting because I think in general these Tacticians Cups, usually when people are when they have this much confidence, they're able to put up the results. So you're saying that if what would be like a good placement that you're satisfied with? Is it first or nothing for this cup?
Final lobby, I'll say. I want to
Okay.
be a little more, a bit more realistic per se.
Okay. And Bossoskills, you were talking to me before the show. You're telling us that you are not that good at TFT right now. Is that actually true, or are you just being humble?
I think it's a little bit of both. Where it's like I've experienced some times where I feel like I'm very good at TFT. So obviously, like start of the set, like no one's really gonna feel like they've kind of solved the game, or no one. Hopefully, no one feels like they've solved the game because they're probably gonna be wrong. But yeah, I think that might play into it a little bit. But I'm definitely not feeling as solved within the context of like how well other people are doing. Because generally I'm a lot higher on myself than like public opinion, of course. Like I think I'm the best, right? But unfortunately I might have to recognize that I might not be the best
Oh wow.
going into this
Okay.
tournament.
I see.
Can you give a reference point for like when the last time you think you were in form, like up to your own standards was?
Oh, it was probably like a long time ago. It's either like towards the end of set 9, maybe even like after LCQ, or in set 8. Because I didn't really play that much set 10, and then set 11 I had a few incidents that stopped me from kind of competing as much as I would have liked to.
Sleeping through your qualifiers.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah. I mean, and my parents sprung a surprise Japan trip on me.
Oh, the horror.
Shoot.
You moved back in with your parents though, you said.
Yeah. So that's why there's like a scenery change, perhaps from some of the other, like if some of the other like maybe times I've streamed with my cam or been on the show, I think I was at my apartment in New York, and now I've moved back in with my parents. So
Okay. Is it because you're done with school? Is that why?
yeah, I graduated college.
Okay. And Showtime, are you
Wait.
still in school?
Yeah, I'm in college, university.
Okay. Same difference. What? So are you doing TFT? How much hours are you doing TFT a day? You played some of the most games out of everyone on ladder. I'm looking at it. 361 games, man.
That's passion. That's called passion right there. I don't know. I'm putting in a lot more time than before. I mean, I'm mostly autopiloting most games, especially like later on into the day. I'm autopiloting most of my games, but I would say I'm putting in like at least double digits hours on most days.
Wow.
Or on the weekdays,
That is
at least. I don't play that much on weekends.
Why are you so motivated all of a sudden? Why now compared to previous sets?
I feel like this set, first, like for me, it's pretty fun compared to set 10 and set 11 where I didn't compete. And I feel like it's a good like trait web and design for me to be good as a player, because it feels a lot like set 8 when I was also like very good. And then
Okay.
I just have more time now because I'm done with my first few years of university, so I'm like more loose with my schedule.
I see. So you feel like the set is clicking for you, which is a really important facet. I feel like a lot of players have to like the set as like a big requirement. Okay, with that, let's go ahead and jump into the news and talk a little bit about what's been going on. So the first thing is the B patch. So I'm not sure why this keeps fading to black. Sorry about that. So we have the B patch out where they nerfed a bunch of things. They disabled treasure army because there's like a bug where like sometimes you just wouldn't get the treasure. This is the thing like at the end of stage 4, you get like the treasure dragon. There's augments that they nerf: flexible, high horsepower, molten caramel. Try the traits they've nerfed: portal, vanguard, pyro, and then a bunch of champions. So I kind of want to get people's general read on it. Thumbs up, thumbs down. What do you think of the B patch, Bossoskills?
Thumbs up for me. I think it's a good change, sort of in the right direction. I think maybe they didn't actually B patch enough. I will say like pyro maybe got. I mean, I'm not gonna get into like the smaller nitty gritty, but I think like a few of the changed augments kind of have problems that are a little bit different from what they're patching. Like I think flexible is actually a huge beneficiary of the Tinker change, and that's why it was so good. Where like you can get basically permanent reforgers for the entire game on like stage 2 or whatever, and you can have like 4 extra slots at hitting like flexible combos that synergize together, which I think is like the main problem with, well, maybe not the main problem, but one of the big reasons why flexible didn't actually go down as much, even though it seems like a big nerf. And then I think they actually did a pretty good job with everything else, where they like Ari still feels playable but not as oppressive. Nyla feels playable but not as oppressive. Yora feels playable but not as oppressive. I think like down the line they really did a solid job with the B patch. Even if I wish they changed a few more things or made like slightly different adjustments.
Okay. What's one thing that you wish that they added? You don't have to go through the whole list.
I think I wish they nerfed Cog a little bit. Like
Again?
the Kog'Maw comp, maybe like the attack speed that Kog'Maw gives with his ability, or maybe just the damage. But I think that would be the main thing for me.
Okay. It's pretty insane too because they did a pretty sizable nerf on the patch before it as well. So yeah, like Kog'Maw is definitely one of the comps that jump back to the top. Showtime, what do you think about the B patch? Do you agree with Nico?
Yeah, I mean, I tuned out a lot of what he said. Every single time this guy talks, he just has to give a speech. But I feel like the patch overall is pretty good. I would say there's a lot of stuff that are very strong that they didn't touch, probably because it's not good in the stats. I'm not going to leak my information here because I want the edge for the weekend. But what they did nerf are all good nerfs, and I feel like this is a very good B patch overall.
Okay. Gangly, I don't know if you've been actually just kind of getting back into TFT. You mentioned there's a TFT detox. You've been just on the road doing a lot of stuff. You were at Evo. You're doing Worlds first, and then you have to kind of like relay that into a bunch of other events. So
Yeah,
you're getting
I
back
don't have
in right now.
I don't have too much to add. I mean, I don't have anything to actually add on in terms of the B patch. I'll say that, bouncing off of what Nico said, though, on the concept of like good B patch, maybe not B patching enough. I just wanted to make a note that to me, I think that is like the correct way to B patch. That I would rather than make subtle changes over time that don't make a direct, a gigantic shift, especially the week of an event. So if it's a good B patch and everyone's kind of got 2 thumbs up, I think it's good that maybe they did it with gentle hands.
It's also a lot of changes for a B patch. Just putting it out there. There's like a lot of individual file changes that they do, and it's a big B patch for their standards. So I think it's fine. And the meta is still shifting a little bit going into tomorrow. But again, I also don't want to league based off stuff that I've been hearing. In the meantime, let's go ahead and go down memory lane as well. This is our first episode of the set, so I feel like we have to kind of cover some of the big broad strokes of happening. So the first is that EWC happened, and it was like one of the biggest events to start off the sets, and it was a huge 4v4 $500,000 prize pool where this is where like Soju and Setsuko, Replay, Robin, I was there, Weijin, Dish Soap, Ki, and Malala. It's like a lot of NA players were there alongside top CN players in EMEA, and it was a huge event. And Wolves ended up taking the win there. And it kind of sparked, again, more conversation of how 4v4 actually is as a competitive format. And a lot of people actually really enjoyed following it. Maybe watching the experience could be better because it's kind of hard to keep doing mental math of who's winning. But the actual event itself was really, really fun. And so I kind of want to just like go around and check out, like, did you guys watch EWC? And if so, what did you guys think of it? So, Showtime, did you watch any EWC?
Yeah, I watched almost all the games NA played. And I feel like, first of all, 4v4 is like a really good format for competitive TFT. I feel like it's good for the viewers and it's so fun for the players because there's so many more elements that are involved in strategy and decision making. And every single round matters, every single placement matters. And I feel like overall in EWC, I think the NA teams all low-rolled really hard when they got knocked out. I think augment-wise and roll-down-wise. But I feel like it was a really fun thing to watch, and I really enjoyed it. And it was good for me because all the sweats were not on ladder, so I got to hit.
True.
I got to maintain top 3 for like an entire week, so that's pretty good.
That is true. Everyone was like actually looking at your profile. Not to inflate your ego more, Showtime, but there were moments
yes.
where Wasian, Iverson, Malala, and Disso were looking at your profile to see if you had any
Yes.
tech, 'cause they were
Yes.
impressed. They're like, "Oh, Showtime top 3, huh?" Still,
You know, they were actually all asking Nico, not me, for tech.
really? Why would that happen,
Yeah.
Nico?
Oh, I don't know. They probably just assume like if Showtime's high on ladder, he's probably just stealing my tech because I'm.
No, that's not what it was.
You know,
Bro.
it doesn't really have to be stated if everyone kind of knows what it is. But yeah, that's probably why I'm also like kind of a tech guy. More recently, and I've kind of given out some tech for certain comps, and like debated people about tech and other things. In terms of EWC, yeah, I think it was a very interesting tournament, and like definitely viewership wise, I think it would actually probably be a more popular format than singles because it's like easier to follow teams just in general rather than individual players. And that's not really like a TFT thing. I think that just kind of is how it is for most competitive esports. It's just easier to follow the teams and like you just know who's on your team. I do agree that in terms of like knowing what the points look like, they could do a little bit better. But obviously it's the first tournament, so not everything's going to be perfect and shouldn't be expected to be perfect. But like have some idea of the point total and like, oh, you know, team Vitality needs Setsuko to go first in order to win, or you know, like some sort of kind of announcement pop-up system so that the viewers who maybe aren't completely knowledgeable about everything that's happening to have like a good follow the storyline basically of what's happening in the game.
Okay. So let's say next year, Showtime and Bossoskills, they build the dream team. You guys have enough points to qualify directly to the event. I want you two to pick one person to join the team, and they have to join the team. You don't have to ask them for permission. It's Showtime Bossoskills +2. Bossoskills, who are you bringing on the team?
Can I kick Showtime for another slot or
No, you can't do that.
No,
That's not part of the question.
That's
The question is, I'm part of the team, bro. I'm already part of it, bro.
I mean, thinking about the team, well, that's hard. First, trying to get me like pick who's my pick between my mom and my dad.
Dude, just pick the mom. I'll pick the dad. Deal. Hurry up, man.
You don't have to make it weird, man.
Okay.
I'd probably pick Malala, because he's like kind of the, like out of the people that I sort of talked to. I mean, even though he didn't pick me, which is fine.
True, he could have picked you. Yeah.
But like kind of when I started playing, he was like the first person. Well, he wasn't the first person, but he's like the first person that still kind of plays and competes at a high level that I talked to. So I've kind of known him the longest of like the people that I currently talk to and play with, and I think we're pretty good friends. So I hope, maybe we're not, but so I'd probably pick him.
I think he's in chat saying he would pick me because I'm his dad. So
no, Showtime said pick them up. I picked them up.
All right, so Showtime, who are you picking?
Wage and Iverson, easy. Well, I feel like in our study group, I feel like I've known Wasian for one of the longest times, and he's probably the best player right now on average. And I've also met him IRL many times, and I'm pretty close to him in our group, so I'll definitely pick him.
The Canada connection, the Canadian connection. All right.
Yeah, I see in chat the Tlee says NG Malala. Bosso, was Malala NG for a time?
Like technically, I mean, it wasn't like it was an exclusive group or anything. It was kind of just like you put NG in your name. I think he lost a bet to put NG in his name, or that might have been someone else lost a bet to put NG in their name, and Malala I don't think ever changed his name to NG Malala. I think he made a Smurf. He made like some Smurf name that had NG in it as a joke, but I don't think he ever officially changed his main account's name.
Yeah. Philip is right, by the way. Traded Kiyun and Disso for Showtime and Bossoskills.
Wait, I have something to say about that. Can I say something about that?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, okay. First of all, Kiyun to me is not even a downgrade, because Kiyun didn't even make the cup. He got day 1, I think. And okay, Dish Soap to Bossoskills is a for sure downgrade, but it's like it's one upgrade, one downgrade. It's like even. Who cares?
Wow,
It's
the
fine.
disrespect. Keen was the best performer on Fnatic at the tournaments. His AVP, he bot forward one time. I mean, I guess 44 stats are fake, but I feel like Keen actually did really well, man. But you're saying that you're even better because you would average like a 2.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
All right.
I did
Someone
want
didn't watch the tournament. It's all good.
I did want to bounce off of something Nico said on the topic of EWC viewership experience. So, you know, like I said before, I was on this sort of detox. I didn't know anything about the set, know anything about the units. So I think I actually had a very unique perspective watching the event. I did watch a handful of Dan's co-streamed games, and I strongly believe coming out of it that 4v4, I mean, by far, it is so much better to watch than singles. Even though I did not know what any of the units were, what any of the traits were, all you have to do is follow the right-hand side. You can just watch the standings of each individual player, and if you understand, like, this person won this fight, this person lost this fight, you can watch, like, the units being upgraded, and it actually allows you to watch TFT on a very primal level, which I think is missing largely in singles. So I hope that we get to see more of these 4v4 events. Of course, like, I don't think it'll ever replace the free-for-all format that we use for World Championships, but I do think that 4v4 is the best way to introduce new players and new watchers into the scene.
Yeah, I like that aspect of it for sure. And one thing that's really cool about 4v4 is that it's not just like fun to watch, but the players love it. There's way more strategic depth than we even thought there was, and we already kind of thought it was going to be a really deep format. There's like basically the summary of it was there's 3 major play styles that teams were angling for, and there's a little bit of a rock paper scissors element of it, but there's like ways that you could exploit that, and there's also like a lot of different small things that each team did to like have micro optimizations to make their tempo line work, or to make their like win out feed that player, like go for the first play strategy work. So there's all different kinds of things to 4v4 that's like really interesting. Just to give you a snippet of like how much the players enjoyed it, they thought the Syndrome meta was actually good for 4v4. Like they thought that it was actually like not a bad patch at all. They actually enjoyed playing on it, despite being one of the worst patches ever in TFT history. So for singles at least. So that just goes to show you how much that 4v4 changed the game fundamentally for a lot of players.
Dan,
but as Showtime mentioned, there was also other things going on. There were snapshots that was happening for the Tacticians Cup, but there's also snapshots that are coming up. So we want to hit you guys with a couple of dates. The first is that the snapshot for Macau is on September 2nd. So this is kind of a PSA for anybody that wants to hit Challenger and get your tickets and your priority. That is on September 2nd, which is actually like a week and a half. Oh wow, it's actually super close. It's actually a really big deal, not for these guys, but there's some people, like I'm a Cutie Pie, for example, is actually playing a ton of TFT, and he wanted to grind so that he can get snapshots so he could buy tickets to Macau. So it'd be really cool to see more people join us because the LAN was sick. Did you guys go to LAN last year? Bossoskills Showtime?
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Okay. You missed out, but will you be at Macau?
I think I'm probably going.
Okay. And Gangly, you're gonna try to make it out, right? The last plan was just the best.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I have no idea, you know, if I'm going or not. I would say, like, I'm probably only, well, no, I can say with 100% certainty, I'm only going to be going if I'm attached to the event one way or another, whether through content or casting or something. So fingers crossed, we'll see.
Okay, understood. Other news around, we have a new game mode coming to TFT, by the way, a PvE game mode called Talker's Trials. That's really cool. It's basically 1v0, like you're playing against a set of obstacles and you try to clear it. This might not be a big deal to competitive TFT. I mean, maybe a speed running competition or some kind of thing might happen where you post a high score, but this is actually one of the coolest things that's happened to the game in quite some time, and also potentially really huge to help grow the game or develop a different audience that doesn't just want to sweat and even have pressure of playing against other players, right? If you're introducing someone new, you can actually walk them through PvE. You have infinite time to take your turns. And I've played a few times. I think it's pretty fun. So I'm looking forward to developing this game mode a little bit more. I don't know if you guys want to talk about it. We can move on.
I have one quick thought. I'll keep it short. But when Guthers from MetaTFT released Bortle, I messaged him saying, this is possibly the largest contribution to TFT that we've ever seen outside of the main game. Primarily because when I think of games like people who play chess and go to chess.com just to play puzzles, there's a huge audience out there that wants to learn about a game within the confines of their own learning structure. And to me, having some sort of PvE game mode where someone, even like for me, for instance, I took a detox, I want to learn the game. I just want to practice rolling. I just want to practice building comps. I don't want to have to sacrifice my LP to do that. And so things like Hyperroll, things like this PvE game mode, things like Bortle, I think are huge contributions in making the learning curve of TFT more attainable for a lot of players.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Good thing we have Bortle Genius Bossoskills on call. Bossoskills has actually a Bortle prodigy. Every single time we do it on co-stream together, Bossoskills nails it.
But I'm pretty sure he flukes the ball then, because he's not good at Bortle. He sucks.
Nah,
All
we
I'm
have
gonna say is-
countless evidence suggesting otherwise.
we have a lot of evidence on stream, and there was the old TFT game show First or Eighth, where you
Dude,
did
you were
this
against Malala and Wage Iverson, bro. They suck even
where
more
you
than
did
you.
this activity to guess who would win the fight, and only one person out of Bossoskills, Malala and Wage Iverson, got full points on that activity. And one of those, the other two people, Wage Iverson, also known as Showtime's father, and Malala, world champion. So I'm in good company.
You know, back
All right.
in set 8, after I had like called Amd to do well, and then he won mid set, someone asked me who the next person I would make a call out was, and I said Bosso. And
you
it
were
never
wrong.
really came to fruition. But I'm holding out for hope, and the day it happens, I'm pulling up the receipts.
I see. Well, I think what I'm hearing is I need to create I need to bring back First or Eighth as a game show and invite both of you plus Wage and Malala. Throw down once more and see who actually knows the most. All right.
History's gonna repeat itself.
That's right. That way Bossoskills can reclaim this glory from 3 years ago. No, thank you for that raid, buddy. All right, let's talk about some of the other things that happened. This is the sub-regional event, Phoenix's Dark Fair, hosted by Boise's. Congratulations to Whale of Peace, Holden, Sub-Zero Arc, and X-Leo. If you're not familiar with the sub-regional is, it's one of the two paths you can get to a Tactician's Cup. The first is to qualify via sub-regional. The second is to qualify for ladder directly. Actually, the third way that we're about to talk about is the Tactician's Trials, which was played last weekend. So shout out to them. And if you're like, well, that feels kind of cheese, how come I didn't know about this? I don't blame you. The advertising for sub-regionals is pretty horrendous. In fact, the advertising for NA events in general is pretty poor in TFT. Most people get their information from this podcast. The second sub-regional to sign up for Tactician's Cup number 2 is on August 30th, next weekend. So in case you haven't been already grinding way too many games of TFT, playing weekly cups, and as many ladder games as you can, next weekend is also another sub-regional that qualifies you. So sign up. It'll be happening, I believe, Saturday and Sunday, 2-day event. If you're having trouble keeping track, though, there's actually some good news. We have a new website called TF20s that's out to try and help people connect to the scene more. Pro TFT went down, and that was the way we tracked a bunch of things like AVP and historical events. And Liquipedia is good at that, at keeping like kind of an event result happening. But TF20s is going to try to dive a little bit more into like the player profile, and they're going to put out a lot more information on that. So go follow them, TF20s on Twitter. The website is tf20s.com. This is, for example, like the Tactician's Trials results helps me actually track what's going on. So Gang, did you get a chance to check out this website?
I did, yeah. I'm so glad that there's something else out there that we can go to. It's also really slick UI. I Pro TFT was an amazing project. I think it never was quite developed enough to get to a place where I felt like it was the product it wanted to be. Just right off the bat, I think as a beta, TF Tyrannies feels very, very promising. I think it's already in a pretty good place.
Yeah, I agree. So go check it out. And yeah, any player who is just trying to fraudulently say like, oh, this player is overrated, whatever, but then the stats actually show otherwise, we can finally add a little bit more stats into the conversation again, because we've been missing that for the past set and a half, and it's been a big deal. All
That's
right,
bad news for Showtime.
That's terrific news, bro.
Showtime, what's your lifetime AVP? What do you think? What do you think your lifetime AVP is?
I got this.
Oh, Gailey has this.
Okay.
Okay, so what do you think your lifetime AVP is? And then Gailey can
Okay,
reveal
I
it.
think it's around like a 4.4, 4.5.
Okay.
Oh
okay.
wait,
Gangly, do we have it?
hold on. I
Okay,
don't know
Bossos,
if I do.
what do you think your
because he-
lifetime AVP is?
Oh, probably not very good.
Probably atrocious. Probably worse than mine.
Probably like a 4-3.
4-3. That's better than Showtime's.
Oh, it is not
I
a
mean-
4-3. It's not.
It's not a 4-3, bro.
I just wanted to say it because it was above Showtime.
I
I'll be
see. I
honest.
see. So
Bossos
Gangly,
is-
No,
can we
I
pull
know
up
it's
any
very
stats?
bad because I've seen the stats. You have to put a little context around the stats, of course. A lot of the tournaments I played were like I don't want to say I was on tilt, but like were like low impact tournaments on kind of like my overall competitive scene. Obviously, like that's kind of an excuse and a cop out, but
Hmm.
we
Low
can just start
impact.
tracking from this set on in terms of AVP and see where I end up.
I
We
see.
can just forget about the past.
I see.
Okay, I don't have Showtime stats actually. I
Have you
have
looked
to.
up Bossoskills?
My career sheet is very, very early in its infancy. I'm not. Wait, what do you enter as? You enter as Emmett Who's or whatever
I've
it is?
entered as like 5 different
Who's?
things. It's actually impossible to find.
And
Yeah, I
who's
can't find
indeed-
you. The Showtime, just Showtime,
Talk to me.
has only 6 games played, and it's a 5.17.
What?
Okay, don't
That's
talk to me.
impossible.
No,
I
that's-
actually
You're-
I don't know
you're
what
talking
tournament-
to
I don't know what
Dane
tournament that was. That's a fluke,
That's
bro.
pretty
You're
accurate.
talking to
That's a
the
fluke.
Astral Cup weekend 1 winner, right? Is that is
Yep. Yep.
from set
Yeah.
7?
So I don't have Showtime's real stats.
5.1. This guy's a Dolby surround sound at AVP. Oh my god.
I have 4.59 for Bosso.
You're terrible too, bro.
But just
I
weekend
thought it was
1,
worse.
if you include weekend 1, it's 4.46.
Hey,
Weekend
not
1
bad.
doesn't count.
Farmer, baby.
Trending
I knew I
upwards.
That does not count, bro.
That's climbing. That's climbing.
I knew I was the Muppet Farmer.
Yeah, that's right. All right. That's on that note. Let's go ahead and transition to the ranking, shall we? All right. So our top 15. We always start off with our snub list. Our snub list of players who received votes but did not make the top 15. And this one was once again a little on the spicier side. And so let's go ahead and reveal. So we have Goobums on the outside looking in. Again, that's back-to-back rankings where Goobums was pretty close. I believe the cutoff was 27 points, so it was very, very close there. Marcel ended up getting a lot of votes due to probably good letter ranking, but Marcel did not make it. Then Socks, Ramblin', and then Philip were the other people who got some multiple votes. Showtime with five votes. DQ and
I also
Degree
got
with
multiple
4
votes.
apiece. What was that?
I think I also got multiple votes.
You did. You got a lot of like 14 to 15 range. So you actually had multiple people believe in you. You had 3. In fact, you had 3 people put you on their ballot. Showtime. We'll show them later on if you want to see it. Degree and DQA both at 4 points. Actually, that's incorrect. Looks like I didn't count one. Actually, Bossoskills, it should be 13 actually, but he still doesn't make it. Bossoskills at 3 points. Spetham and Triple Eight / Vanilla. So let's talk a little bit about this. Let's start off with Showtime and Bossoskills. So based off of this projection, right now, Showtime, you're ranked 21. And Bossoskills is 23. Showtime, do you think that's accurate? You said you feel like you're one of the best players in the field. You should be top 15 then, right?
I mean, quite frankly, first of all, I don't know how Bossoskills even got a point. I don't know who's voting for him. It's probably the people who are only care about first week where he was like top 3 or something. But more importantly, I feel like I should for sure have more than 5 points. I feel like I ranked myself. I think I'm a top 15 player for sure.
You ranked yourself the highest. You ranked yourself at 13th. And then 2 other
Reasonable.
people ranked you at 15th. You want to know who?
That's just fate. I know Malala was one of them.
Yes,
Wait,
Malone.
so if you basically you're saying if we took out his ballot, he would have less votes, less
Yes,
points.
Dude, I don't know
he
who
makes up
voted for you,
60% of his
bro.
points.
Okay, glad we cleared that up.
I know Bossoskills probably voted for himself. He probably put
I
himself.
did
not,
not
he
put
did
myself
not.
on my ballot.
He did not. The
so-
second person that put Showtime on his ballot was Prestivant. Prestivant also put Bossoskills on the ballot, but he put Showtime at 15th and put Bossoskills at 13th.
I mean, P God knows ball. What can I say? P God knows ball.
Yeah,
I actually,
To be honest,
does that surprise you, Dan? I feel like you probably know players' ballots better than anyone else. You and Bryce. Do you think that this is like a nod to ladder from Preston? Do you think he's actually seeing something in these guys?
Yeah. Basically, Prestivant is making a lot of his rankings based off of either conversations with the players or he's one of the players that grind the most on ladder. And so if you have done anything to impress him on ladder, that's usually one way you can make it onto the rankings. The only third possibility for someone like Prestivant is if he gets a lot of hype from people and Prestivant just trusts the sources. Like if Setsuko says a player's really good, if Soju says a player's really good, if Disso says a player's really good, he'd be like, okay, that player's probably really good. So he's willing to do that. I don't know if people are gassing up Bossoskills and Showtime a lot to him, but clearly they've made an impression of some kind. So, Gangly, out of all the players here, we talked about 2 of them so far. Is there any player that you're particularly excited about coming into this weekend who got votes but didn't make it?
I gave a nod. I tend to save my 14th, 15th spot on my ballot for players that I want to give a nod to who I think have a reasonable chance of making a deep run, who are maybe underrated. I put Triple Eights there. Triple Eights was a player who had he had a really deep run last set. There was, I think we kind of joked the last time I was on the podcast that I had talked about this guy back in like set 6 and he didn't really come to fruition. He didn't really do too much there. But he made a deep run in, I think, the first cup of last set, and he's doing really well on ladder. He's got a super high top 4 rate, if I remember correctly. I think it's over 65%, which to me is usually like a pretty good indicator that like this guy has no problem climbing. He's doing really well. I think if I wanted to make a bet on someone who we don't have in like the usual suspects, he feels like a pretty safe bet to me.
Okay, that's a very unusual one. Vanilla, by the way, getting a vote was because I think the lab accidentally put Darth noob. Actually, a lot of people want to put Darth on their ballots because he's crushing ladder, but he's not entering this cup, and so they jokingly put Vanilla 16th, but that ends up coincidentally putting him 15th. So that explains the vote there. Okay, memes aside, Showtime, talk to me about one player that you think is underrated on this list besides yourself and potentially Bossoskills. Someone we have talked about.
I think Degree should be a lot higher. I think historically Degree has been really, really good in tournaments, and I feel like he's putting effort into this tournament at least. I don't know how much effort he's putting, but he is putting some level of effort into this tournament.
Okay.
I feel like Degree's really good right now. I feel like Philip is also really good, but that's probably because I study with him a lot, and then I watch him play and I listen to him. But yeah, those 2 would be my danger duo.
Okay. Looking now for his study group buddies, Bossoskills. Talk to me about a player that you can echo it or throw another name into the hat.
Oh, I'll just do different names then. I think Spetham is someone who's very like hard to rank just because he was doing very, very well early in the set. He's still doing pretty well on ladder. But you kind of never really know what Spetham you're gonna get. Like, are you gonna get rank 1 like genius turbo pivoter Spetham, or are you gonna get? Oh wait, I'm not. Why is the chat saying Spetham's not played? Anyways, you don't know whether you're getting turbo genius Spetham or you're getting like kind of play like a little bit too creative of the line Spetham. Wait, you got day 1. Anyways, as I was saying, Ramblin is a really, really solid player. Honestly, like he's had a few down sets compared to like the level that he was at in like earlier sets. But I think he's kind of back. Like I watched a little bit of his streaming, and it seems like he's making solid decisions, solid plays. Everyone kind of, I feel like, respects Ramblin for like how good he has been in the past. He just really hasn't had the results recently, and I think this could be like his sort of breakout set to get back to kind of like the peaks that we all know that Rambling can get to.
Yep. I really like that. And I think set 12 kind of meshes with him. I think he thinks about the mid game really well. I want Rambler to do well. I personally didn't rank Ramblin because I don't think he excels in reroll metas. I think he actually really hates reroll metas, like at least the way the current landscape is shaping up. And also because I think some of his like edge around the forecast doesn't really exist right now. At least like the way he historically has. Maybe he's found an angle that he's been working on, but at least like the traditional knowledge of like what favors his type of playstyle, I don't think exactly is available outside of maybe Rise. But we'll see. Okay, so with that being said, Agubos apparently I checked missed by 1 point because a player was able to get there at 26. So very, very narrow margins. Without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at our actual power rankings. At number 1, we have Setsuko at 164, almost a perfect 15-0 across the board, except one person chose not to rank him at rank 1, which we'll talk about in a little bit. We had Wajan Iverson at number 2, Replay at number 3, and that kind of is like our 1, 2, 3. Disso, for reference, is not playing in this cup, so he's not eligible to be ranked. That's why he's not featured here on his top 15. And then you have a very interesting tier 2 with Soju, Milk, Spencer, and Precedent, all people who have prepped together, but Soju actually has edged them out, and it's the first time Soju's ever been top 4 in an actual cup. So a lot of confidence in Soju. Then at number 8, it's Gangly's boy Bruce solo in tier 3 at 86 points. Kind of a gap between him and Precedent, and a gap between him and the next highest person, which is Asa, which starts our tier 4, down to Robin, T-Lights, Camberley, Ripple, Kurum, and Toronto, Tokyo, making the top 15. So let's get our first initial reactions. Showtime, does this top 15 look generally correct to you? You were talking about how you think Wajan's the best player. Do you think that he's actually above Setsuko right now?
Oh no, I think Wajan's the best player in my study group. I feel like
okay.
I think I also put Setsuko 1. Yeah, I think Setsuko is the clear favorite. As for now.
Okay.
But yeah, this power ranking is, I feel like, pretty accurate overall. I think I did rank Bruce pretty highly because he's like a ladder demon. Like every time he's in my game, I'm just shaking. But yeah, this list looks pretty good.
Sorry, who's the demon?
Bruce Lol, that guy is a genius. Like every single, let me rant a bit about this guy. He always makes the most unconventional decisions ever and somehow manages to go first. I don't understand how he does it, but he just finds a way. Like he is so good.
You know, he actually is looking for people to talk to about the game. He actually
our study group's too big.
Yeah, but I'm talking about this as a general, like maybe there's some people in chat who are looking for other people to talk to, but Bruce asked me last set. He's like, hey, I have no one to prep regionals with. Do you know anyone that's looking? And I said, I'll ask around, but here's like a couple different leads. And that was last set where he made it to regionals, man. That was like 2 months ago. So maybe this guy's actually looking for some practice partners. Also, Milk asked, how big is the group now, Showtime?
I think there were like 12 people in call VOD reviewing today. I think
12 people VOD reviewing.
I think we have like 16 Tacticians Cup players, like 15.
Is that even helpful to have 12 people in a call?
Probably not.
We do some splitting a lot of the time.
Yeah, we do split sometimes.
But I mean, we're definitely willing to trade Showtime for Bruce.
No, dude, I'm one of the founding members, bro. I'm one of the founding members.
But you can't kick the guy whose name is on the server.
We can change the name to Bruce Lowell Study Group.
Oh man. All right. I'm really interested in because Gangly, you've been on the Bruce train, but because you were tracking his stat and his progression, and now the hype is caught up. So you must feel very vindicated right now.
I do. I mean, I think the nature of making the call based on stats does. I feel like it's almost like entirely separate. When like now people are paying attention to him, now they're watching him play, and now everyone feels like he's really strong. It doesn't necessarily make me feel like, oh, I'm a genius, I knew, because the reality is I've made a lot of calls based on stats that haven't quite panned out. I think the key is that I take more shots than anyone else does, and that's why they tend to stick a little bit more.
Sure.
But
Yeah. You bet the whole table in roulette, buddy.
exactly.
You can't
But
miss.
you know, it is cool because I feel like there are a lot of players in the history of TFT that we get to see them have this breakout set, and then they go on to make improvements, right? Like Dish Open Set 6 had this pretty modest set, and after that point started to really break out. But I think people like Wajan Iverson is a great example of that as well. Like Replay kind of had like the rise, instant rise, so it wasn't that exact same archetype. But I think Bruce, to me, if he continues this trajectory and becomes one of these mainstays in the highest echelon of NA or of the Americas, I think it feels like a really cool story in the history of TFT.
You're the second person to actually compare him to Dish Soap in the sense that like he had a pretty modest set previously, and so but he made regionals and people were paying attention, and now that they see his name and he's holding rank 1 and he's challenging Setsuko and Dish Soap and Wajan for like holding rank 1 for a long time and impressing players like Showtime on ladder. I think this is probably one of the pieces of evidence that, you know, Goobums is in chat, and Goobums regularly talks about how TFT actually is much more of a meritocracy than you think it is, because if you do well enough while people have the attention on you, you stay in their minds. And so maybe Bruce is that. Like last set it was Greya. The set before that, I want to say is Wajan, but I think he was actually doing that in set 8 as well. And so a lot of people are just like, you know, you have their attention. What are you going to do with it? I think Bruce has the floor at the moment. I want to see what he does at this cup. Asa Robin T Lights Cambulee makes another repeat appearance. I think this is actually a really cool note because Cam's a player that goes really under the radar. Ripple, Kurub, and Toronto. Let's talk about the second half here. Who is a player that you're most excited about Bossoskills on the right hand side?
Actually, I go with I'll go with a kind of less obvious answer, I guess. I would say like maybe Cam. And I guess kind of the reason for that is he has been studying a little bit with us recently, and there's like this really, in terms of my rankings or my opinions on people, I think they're kind of biased by like the amount of stupid things to smart things I hear them say. And so Cam is like kind of quiet most of the time and doesn't really say much unless he actually has something genius to say. So it's like his like smart things to stupid things ratio is like very skewed in favor of smart things.
I see.
Because he like never says the stupid things. So then it's like this guy must be a genius. But I mean also obviously like he's doing well on ladder. Like when I play with him and I feel like I see him in a good spot, it always feels like he's gonna convert. Like I feel like he almost never chokes and kind of like places lower than I would expect him to, which is another thing that I kind of look at in terms of ranking people.
Okay.
And so I would kind of expect him to just he did kind of do pretty well at the end of last set, and I would expect him to improve on that and keep doing better.
He had an amazing set all the way up to regionals, and I don't know what happened. Maybe it's bottom percentile variance, or maybe there's outside factors that I'm not aware of, kind of like Greya getting hit by the hurricane type stuff. But Cam had like an awful regionals, but he's back and he's, you know, dominating ladder. And that's just one tournament, right? Like it's just 1 day, 2 days. Variance could catch up to you. So
The thing about Cam though, and I want to make sure I'm saying this respectfully. Cam had one of the highest advancement rates in the entirety of the Americas last set, but of the players with high advancement rates, he had one of the lowest AVPs. He was, and I just checked because I remember thinking this before regionals. He was like around 4.3 on the set, which is really surprising to hear when he was, if I remember correctly, like top 3 in qualifier points. Right? I remember he was competing with Sox on that final day. And I, you know, of course, there's variance in tournament. I'm not going to like pretend that that doesn't exist, but I do think it's worth at least highlighting that there are players that advance through cups and also have a high quality of advancement. And Cam was not one of those players. So I feel like despite the fact that he had what I would consider his breakout set, his best set of all time, I think he actually still has quite a ways to go and can make large leaps this set. And so I think he's one of the players I think we should be looking at over the course of set 12.
Okay, fair enough. All right, gang, since you're yapping already, who's a player that you're excited about on the right-hand side? On the second half of the rankings?
The second half of the rankings in particular feels very like, it could be half of these players I think could be on the snub list. I think Toronto Tokyo is a really interesting player to look at, especially when you look at how highly valued the rest of the Vitality players are. I think Toronto Tokyo
He's
has
actually
been...
not on Vitality anymore. This is actually an incorrect graphic. He got kicked.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, we'll just put it for this one cup and then we'll change it next time. My bad.
I don't know him personally, and I've seen him compete in events, but when I think of the shape of Toronto Tokyo, like on the whole, I group him into players like Ripple. And what I mean by that is he feels like a player that at any point in time has the capability of making a super deep run. If he qualified for the World Championship, I don't think we would feel bad. I think we would have high expectations of him, but he also feels like a player that is oftentimes left in the dark and isn't really grouped with the highest of the players in North America until he actually does something. And then when he does, everyone's like, oh yeah, well, it's Toronto Tokyo. Like, of course he could do that. So I think there are a handful of players that fall into that category. But it feels good to me to see him continuing to make top 15 lists.
My issue with Toronto Tokyo is that he is very streaky and sometimes not in good ways. Like, so I feel like it wouldn't surprise me if he literally posts a 48 on the day and go 1-1-1-1-1-1-1. But it also would not surprise me to watch him go 8-8-8-8-8-8-8-8. And I don't watch his games every single game at least. I watch him in some games, and there's obviously some genius there at times. But it does seem like he has a susceptibility of sometimes kind of going eighth out of nowhere and putting streaks together as such. And I think it's reflected by the last big tournament that he was, besides EWC, which was his World Championship. He was so favored to make final lobby after his start from day one, and then kind of put together a little bit of a dish soap, kind of going 8-8-8 on day two and not making final lobby because of that. So that's the big thing about him. I think he has a baseline consistency issue that he needs to shore up somehow. But his peaks are there. I mean, he was arguably one of the best performers on Vitality alongside Soju for EWC, so he clearly can perform. Also, historically, like a very good performer when in the clutch. Okay, Showtime, you're up next. Anyone from the 7 to or 8 to 15 range, and then we can talk about the top half.
They took my picks. Let me think. I'm gonna take another one. I'm gonna take Ripple actually.
Okay.
I feel like Ripple has been good in like, was it set 7 LCQ or set 8 LCQ? I watched a lot of his games and I was like really impressed, and I didn't know who he was back then. But now that I talked to him, he's in our study group. I feel like a lot of the things he says are like very, very smart. I feel like he doesn't have any like insane tech all the time, but I feel like he's just like consistently like making good decisions, very solid as a player. He does tend to sack a lot in our scrims. I feel like last set he was known for playing Princess and the Frog a lot in scrims, and then now this set he like pulled out Seraphine reroll from out of the blue. But when I talk to him and when I watch him play, like most times he just feels like very solid, very strong fundamentals. Yeah.
Ripple has developed sort of a notorious like go in like an average of 6 in scrims, like because he's just limit testing stuff or just not like maybe just not performing. But then when it comes to some tournaments that he needs to perform, I think about Tactician's Cup last set, the only way he can make regionals was to top 4 it, and he did. So you're talking about a guy that can clutch it out. So Ripple has impressed many people. Too bad Bryce is in here. Ripple is one of Bryce's favorite underdogs to gas up. But we got Gangly here to gas up his dogs. So yeah, we'll have Gangly unleashed pretty soon.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Okay. Let's see. I think a player that I think is actually somehow underrated on this list is the person at the very top. I think Asa is very underrated. I think that he's a player that people don't understand very much. And I learned this. I learned about just how much people don't get it when I talked to Dish Soap. Dish Soap says that like Asa plays very different than how he plays almost like across the board. Like he said that if he remembers he watched one Asa VOD and he like disagreed with like 90% of what he did, but it like worked out and Asa got the result, and he's clearly consistent enough at a high enough baseline to be like considered a top player. And so I think just based off of that is probably why he goes under the radar, because I think people don't really understand. But if you listen to the way Asa talks, I also think he thinks about the game pretty differently. And I always like listening to him speak about the game. So I am cheering for him. Plus, he also has his own TFT website, and I personally have a soft spot for that because I know how hard it is to run a TFT website. So I hope you do well, buddy. Good luck.
What you're referring to when Goobums disagrees with everything you do, but it works out anyway, is what we call the soulless effect.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Let's dive a little bit here into the top 7. Okay, I want to start off at the very top. 11 people. We had 11 or 12 ballots. I'm trying to count it right now. Only one person didn't put Setsuko at number 1, and he happens to be right here in this call. It's Bossoskills. Bossoskills,
dude, you are what?
Oh, I actually think more people should not have Setsuko straight 1. That's not really like a slight on him. It's more of I think people are like underrating the people under him. Like I mean, honestly, I rated replay very low, but that's because he was literally like 300 LP when I was making the list. So that's kind of his fault. Like it's kind of hard in good faith to put someone. But if he was like challenger, I probably would have put him like top 3. But I think like Setsuko does have like he definitely has the highest high of anyone on this list. But I really think that Weijin just makes like the least mistakes, and this could also be because like the Setsuko games that I see him play are like on stream content, whatever. And if that's the case, I mean like that's completely fair, right? That like maybe Setsuko is not playing the exact same way he did or as accurately as he would in tournaments. But like one of the people that I was coaching kind of brought like I gave him a homework assignment. I won't disclose what the assignment was, but it was like to look through VODs, and like we were discussing like something to do with his VODs, and like I thought there were like more inaccuracies than I was kind of expecting to see, which could also be, as I said, like content or whatever. But when I watch Weijin play, like he makes just very, very few inaccuracies, and I thought he was making less inaccuracies than Setsuko. So that's kind of why I ranked Weijin first and Setsuko second. But I mean, obviously, I'm aware that Setsuko has like kind of that magic X factor where it's like he just pulls like some random line that you've never seen in your life, and he'll win a game with it, and that's kind of like what defines him. But that was just my personal opinion on 1 and 2.
Oh, fascinating. I don't hate that, and I think it feels like you have a justification as opposed to just being like, well, I'm taking Fnatic. I don't know. I feel like some people just like actually rip that sometimes when they're doing those ballots. Okay. You did rate replay at the lowest. Actually, Robin rated replay the lowest. His teammates on Toronto Ultra rated replay 7. I feel like they gotta figure that out, man. That's between them too. But I noticed that there's a couple of interesting things about the rest, which is like I think that Pressevent didn't rate Milk, and he ranks Milk very highly. It could be Milk talking to Pressevent, or maybe Milk's just not trying very hard for this tournament. I don't have a good beat on Milk, actually. I think I respect voted him, and also he's played a lot of the sets, so I feel like he can't be bad. But I don't actually know where his motivation is. I know Milk actually is trying to go on vacation again. I think EWC actually burned him out in terms of like the amount of effort and prep he put in. So I feel like it wouldn't surprise me if he's not actually trying very hard for this cup. But in contrast, Soju, we mentioned, this is the highest he's ever been ranked, period, on Don't Talk If You Don't Know, short of when he made Worlds in set 7. So this is, there's been a lot of hype. Showtime, do you think that's justified? You were playing with him in solo queue today a lot. You and Soju were jamming ladder games. How did that go?
I made a decision he wasn't very pleased with, but and then he was talking a lot of smack to me about it. But I feel like overall, Soju's like he's doing really well this set. When I watch him play overall, I feel like he's like very consistently finding good lines and then executing them well. Yeah, I feel like this is one of his best sets, and it's a very deserved high ranking.
Yeah,
Dan,
Gangly, you ranked him pretty low relative to everyone else. Not the lab low. The lab apparently is really down on Soju. But yeah.
I did put Soju low. I put him. I mean, what is this? Probably like trying to like read it backwards. Like 10th
You
or
put him.
8th.
You just inverted, so you put him 8th if you give him 7 points.
I tend to try and make my ballots relatively incremental. Like if I feel like a player is around this rank in the last set, and I believe that they play around that same level, continuing from one set to another, which obviously is not 100% accurate. But we have to have, everyone has to have some sort of framework. I feel like Soju, to me, based on what I have seen of Soju, has similar data in solo queue as we've seen in past set, and he's kind of always, by the numbers, a middle of the pack tournament performer. Really good at dodging 8s, but really has trouble playing in a way that nets him those top 2 finishes. For that reason, I feel like when he has something that is like a 50% top 4 rate, 51% top 4 rate on ladder, it's not like he's climbed 500 LP in the last day. There wasn't really any reason for me, who again, I've been a little bit more detached. So maybe there are conversations, there are reasons why he's so hyped. I didn't see any evidence based on what from my ballot research that justified putting him in a top 5. But you did put him top 5, Dan. Maybe you can like speak to why that's an inaccuracy on my part.
I ranked him the highest outside of Bossoskills and Robin. I spent a lot of time hanging out with Soju at EWC, even more than I thought I would, because I thought I was going to hang out with Fnatic more, but I ended up hanging out with Soju a lot. And anytime he just talked, he actually decided to sit down and co-stream with me seriously. I kind of thought it was going to be like meme. And anytime he kind of spoke about the game, it's been very few times where I feel like when someone speaks, it actually like illuminated my perspective in ways that are very profound. And part of it is that he's sharing information that he learned with Milk and Setsuko and Toronto Tokyo. But part of it was that I really feel like he clicks with this set. I think Soju has a really, really, really deep understanding of set 12 on a fundamental level of like how to play his spot, how to play around charms, how to play the mid game. I think the mid game is really what players are defined right now in the game, like stage 3 and stage 4. And I think Soju has a really good understanding of it. And I actually, and from that, I got the vibe. There's something in my head that told me that it would not be a surprise whatsoever if Soju made it to Worlds in set 12. If he put the effort in. I think that the set clicks with him that deeply based off my conversations with him. So I'm going off of like the fact that it's like a vibe. I could be completely wrong. He could completely day one to not make regionals and quit the set, and I'll look stupid. But I'm just willing to shoot my shot right here, Gangly style from the hip. I think this is Soju's best set in set 7, and I think that he's on a really good track to make it to Worlds again, the second time. So.
I'm down for that. I'd love to see it.
These guys are just stone faced. They're just not believers.
Wow,
I believe it.
Third. I have him third on my ballot.
Oh, true. You have him third.
Oh,
you
really?
have him third.
Or 5th.
You have him 5th, big man.
Well, that's still top 5. That's good.
That's still really good. Out of these players remaining, some people say that we underrate Spencer. I think this is probably the last person we'll talk about here before we move on. They're saying that we underrate Spencer. Where does Spencer sit on your guys' scale? Because it feels like he's all over the place. Some people rate him really high. Soju and Goobums and Preciven put him 2nd. And then some people have him as low as 15th. But he's there. So talk to me about Spencer Showtime.
I'm not too sure how good Spencer is right now, to be honest. I know on first patch he was like a freak, but I don't think he's played much. I haven't seen him at least on ladder. But I feel like he's putting a lot more effort into this set than any other set. So I basically just ranked him like above average just based on like faith in like the people who talk to him, because they also like gas him up all the time. But I'm not very sure how good he is right now.
Okay.
You ranked him 8th, man. That is not above average.
That I legit haven't seen him on ladder in a week, bro. I don't know how good he is on this patch.
That is a little bit where my head's at as well. I haven't seen him play very much. And also, I feel like Spencer's tournament results are all over the place. Either he's making a deep run or he's getting eliminated really early. So I couldn't tell. But from what Preciven is spamming in chat, and they must be talking to him. And if Goobums and Precedent are both agreeing on this. We might see some Spencer action. I think Bossoskills, did you want to say anything, or was that it?
Yeah, sure. So Spencer is someone who I've previously thought was like pretty overrated because obviously like Goobums and Precedent all have been hyping him up for like he's been really hyped for like a long time, like maybe since like 4 or 5, right? But he's never really had like the results that you're kind of expecting out of him. Um, and it felt similar to like everyone is talking about how good he is, which I definitely believe he's good. Obviously, like I don't talk to him, so I can't tell for sure. But I think this set, like I sort of personally experienced, like I played a lot of games with him early in the set, like first patch, because a lot of the people are at EWC, so you just go 10-minute queue and then queue up with the only 10 people who are in Challenger, like over and over again. So I played a lot of games with Spencer, and I think like his line knowledge, like he's generally very accurate, and he was like exploring and really just had like better line knowledge than most of the people did, which was kind of why he had such a large LP gap on the rest of the ladder. And I really think like this is the set where like I personally see him like better than the previous sets where I never really felt like he was particularly good or worthy of like the hype that was surrounding him. But I feel like I can kind of see it this set.
Oh, I see. Man, that is some W glaze. That's basically kind of what I was
You're
saying
welcome,
about
bro.
Soju as well. All right. I mean, dude, are you defecting from Team Wasian to Team Spencer? No, you're not. You rank Wasian Iverson
Well,
number
I
one.
do have Wasian Iverson first, so
Yeah, never mind. Yeah, all good. Okay, I think that's it. Any final notes on this ranking before we move on to agree very quickly and then do our fantasy draft wrap up the show?
I just wanted to say I was a little surprised that more people didn't put replay second. I don't want to like open a whole can of worms here, but I do feel like
Yeah.
it's kind of hard not to. But I think replay at this point in time, like it does feel like, you know, people are putting him in that top 4, top 5 pretty consistently. I think last set we really saw him just kind of kill it all set long, had a really strong showing at the regional finals and just barely came up short. I also feel like Wasian Iverson, and I say this recognizing I put Wasian as 3. I still think he's among the very best in NA. Had his worst set of all time, and then the last 16 games of his set were pretty miserable that we saw at the final day of regional finals and then his showing at Worlds. I was surprised that more people did not see his recent tournament performances and I guess put some sort of question mark there, allowing them to just have replay leapfrog him from 3 into 2. I think they're both still, obviously Wasian I think is a phenomenal player, he's among the very best, but I think replay needs to get a little bit more respect from the rest of the ballots.
Yeah, I think it just has to do with it frankly, it's just it's a lot of people just have a aversion to ranking people high when they're just so low in LP relative to the other players. It's just one of those, like, some people are just philosophic. Like I at one point, so when I remember last set, at one point Setsuko was lower LP than me. And I was like, this is just like weird for me to rank him like as number 1 when I feel like I can't really trust him. And obviously he's a good player, but I imagine some players who are very elite about that have a very difficult time getting over that fact. Now you have to keep in mind he was away for EWC, but that didn't stop other players from also grinding. So there's a little bit of a give and take there. I think there's that. I think there's a little bit of homerism. I think there's a little bit of like replay is a little bit more secretive about the process than other people as well. He like, you know, very much hides his tech and he very much stays within his group. But I'm pretty sure it just comes down to the knowers know and the doubters will doubt, and replay will just show up again like he usually does. And I think he's going to have a pretty good tournament. I think he has a significant edge on the field. There's a reason why I put him second as well, Gangly. So I got your back. Replay has an attitude problem. That's part of the problem. Woo. Oh. And on that note, maybe we can transition to another segment called Agree, where we throw out a statement, whether it's about TFT or the meta, and we ask the field, do they agree? Let's start with the first one. Pretty nice and easy softball answer here. Charms are one of the best set mechanics TFT has ever implemented. Bossoskills. Let's start off with you.
I mean, I think this is an easy agree in terms of set mechanics. I don't think I think most competitive players don't really consider many of the set mechanics to be positive parts of the game. At least the ones that I've talked to, maybe outside of my circle, that's completely different, but that's like my opinion of the general consensus. That being said, I do think charms overall are probably a positive, or close to neutral, in my opinion. I think that's I think they just don't really have that much competition unless you count set 6 augments as the set mechanic, which obviously set 6 would win. But besides that, I think charms are definitely better than like encounters, for example, or dragons or hero augments. So I think they're definitely either first or second. So yeah, agree.
Okay. Showtime.
Yeah, I definitely would agree. It's one of the best set mechanics. I feel like the only one that would beat it is mechanics, which, as Basso said, doesn't really count. But I feel like it has the least impact out of all the set mechanics I can remember, and it allows for some of the best skill expressions, like stage 3, stage 4, stage 5. And I feel like when it's optimized, like there's a lot of things people can do to like play the game their way.
Yeah, I think that last statement is where I stand, which is I think that we're having more stylistic expression on an individual basis more than other sets, because other sets it's like, well, you just pick the legend and that you play Earth, and that's just like that's the way you play the sets. So I very much agree as well. Gangly, what do you think?
Again, keep in mind, mine is a pretty basic understanding, since I'm still getting into it. I will say, I know they got rid of Desperate Plea, right? They removed that. It's no longer in the game. But like when I was watching a handful of games here and there, I think I just happened to watch every game where a streamer was getting charms diffed on like stage 6, because when my first impression of charms was like, oh man, this feels very like landslidey in the late game. As I've played the game more, it feels, I think one of the things that I really appreciate that it opened up is like rolling off cadence and opening up different spike timings into the game, which is really cool and unique. I think like among my favorite set mechanics are probably like Stimmy from 5.5, augments like we talked about already. I think it definitely is in that like top 3, but it's I think I just don't quite have a good enough grasp of how many times the end game is being decided by someone high rolling a charm, or if that really is ever happening.
Well, Desperate Plea being out actually is like most of my grievances. Now it's just pretty much like when someone gets like a really unfortunate time dragon or something like that. Or if they happen to roll like the exact chart, like let's say you're playing like 8 Witchcraft and someone rolls like CC immunity and you're like, okay, well, like my comp doesn't work against you. Like, but that's just like very small, like, and I think the dragon's kind of on the rare side as well these days. So I feel like late game charm BS has been toned down dramatically since the last patch, but that could just be me anecdotally. Maybe that's not entirely true when you play a lot of games. Chat also agrees 95%. I think it's a thumbs up. Charms is a big hit. And I would not mind them revisiting something like this in the future. I think it's a great way to have a light impact, but also a significant one. Okay, let's do only one more just due to our time, because I don't want to be here forever. I have 4 of them lined up. This one is one that's been commonly parroted. The biggest source of current imbalance is not the units, traits, or the strength of reroll necessarily, but the gap in augments. There's too much augment diff. Showtime, what do you think?
For sure, 100%. I feel like Prismatic, there's way too much difference in the good and the bad ones. I feel like on 2-1 your game could legit be over just based off augments. And gold augments surprisingly have a very large gap as well this set. I think it's the biggest gap I can remember. I feel like overall the units are actually not that imbalanced, especially for a release patch. Obviously we had Syndra, and we had like Ari and stuff, but I feel like overall it's pretty tame. And I feel like the traits overall are all also pretty good. It's just mostly augments, I feel like. So yeah, I would agree.
All right. It feels like a lot of people in chat immediately agree as well. Bosco's, you're on the same page.
I'll actually go for a different opinion. I'll say that the biggest sorts of imbalance, or like the biggest thing that I would change if I could change one thing, would actually be like the item balance. I think the
wow.
augments are okay, and I think like specifically component balance. Um, basically like for many comps in the game, like carousel priority is super important, and like augments like Pandora's are very broken because well, not broken, but like there's spots where you would click it where in like past sets you would never think to click it because combats tend to be better, but just because like the value of like bow and tier and like the difference between good components and bad components feels so large to me. Um, like red buff is just the best item in the game. Death cap is the best item in the game. Like the difference between like those sort of items and like the kind of unbuildable items, um, just seems very large, as well as like and they all tend to kind of build out of the same components. Like Tear of the Goddess builds all your mana items, and it also builds all the best frontline items in the game. So it's just kind of like the components are not really um balanced properly, and I think that makes a lot of games feel very bad. Although they're like few and far between, like sometimes like you get dropped sword and AP, you're kind of screwed. You get dropped rod and AD. Like there's I mean there's it's definitely gotten better. Like you can make Crown Guard now and like Rage Blade, but I think generally speaking the components are just a little bit too much power in like bow and tier and a little too little in like chain
Interesting.
and glove.
I mean, I feel like a lot of people have actually said the inverse of that, which is like they feel like this is the most balanced items have been. But I think they're talking about like the general versatility of components in terms of like feeling like you can build something as opposed to having dead. Like I think cloak and all those units have gotten a lot better. But I hear what you're saying, and I agree. I feel like there's a little bit of a stagnation of like how people are itemizing carries in particular around bow and tier. Okay, Gangly, you don't have to speak too long about
No,
this.
I just skip me. It's
You're
okay. I
gonna
don't really
pass?
have anything too nuanced to say
I
on
mean,
this.
I agree with this mainly because I feel like there's a lot of non-games that happen, and I think that's like some of my least favorite TFT when it just feels like your game is pretty empty from the get-go because other people have things like Shimmer Scale, Essence, or like they start off with Mogul's Mail, and you start off with some pretty subpar options across the board like Incanter Crest or something like that, and you're just like, okay, what do I do with this? And I think the huge gaps in there is probably where I think the most bad feelings are currently in the set. So it's an easy agree for me. 78% also agreed in chat. There were some people who disagreed though. I think some people probably do feel like certain units or traits or other aspects of the game are probably even more imbalanced. Either way, interesting food for thought. We're not going to hang on that too much longer because we're going to go straight into our fantasy draft, which is the last portion of the show. So the way fantasy draft works is you get $150 or whatever TFT bucks you want, and you make a bid on a player that you will spend money up until the max cap space, which is you have to bid at least $1 on everybody. And so the highest you can bid on a player individually at the very start is $145. You take turns bidding. Whoever has the highest will secure the spot. I'm going to go ahead and roll. Is there any questions? Gangly, you had some questions potentially about fantasy draft before we started?
No, I'm good now. I had a question before show. I think I'm all cleared up.
All right, I'm going to roll a number 1 to 4. It is 2. That means Gangly, you actually are the first to bid for a fantasy draft.
Okay. Let's kick it off then with Setsuko for let's start 55.
55 for Setsuko. That's the highest I think starting bid we've ever had. 55 for Setsuko. Okay. Anybody want to take Setsuko for higher?
I'll go 56.
57.
I'll go 65.
Whoa, 65 for Setsuko.
I will go 67.
Okay, skipping the interval.
I'll go 70.
Oh my god. Bossoskills is breaking the bank.
I'll go 71.
You can have him for 71.
71. Showtime. Big chill.
You could have it.
71 for Setsuko. Going once, going twice. All right. Gangly takes Setsuko to start things off at 71. All right. That is a high price, but it kind of depends on whether or not you feel like Setsuko has that big of an edge over everybody else. So, okay, Showtime, you're up next.
Okay, I'm gonna go Wasian for 40.
Wasian for 40.
Okay, I'll go Wasian for 65.
What?
40 to 65.
You got a hot date after this, bro? You got a hot date?
66.
What? I mean, why are you starting at 40, man? No one's gonna
66.
get Wasian for 40.
I'll go 70.
Oh my god.
All yours, big man.
Deal.
70, 71.
Yeah, all yours.
Oh, okay. 71 going once, going twice. Okay. I actually didn't think you guys would back out there. I can't get a read on the Showtime guy, the sunglasses. Bossoskills, you're up next to bid.
I'll go Showtime for 1.
Showtime for $1. I'm out.
Too rich for my blood.
I'll go myself for 30.
What? For $30?
You can have it.
Okay.
You can.
All right.
You don't even need to do the
Showtime
count.
for 30. Going once. Going twice. All right. Emmett Woes.
That's a steal. That's daylight robbery.
Oh, it's robbery, all right.
Yeah. Yeah, about that. All right. $30. Okay, so what would you say your true value is if it's not 30?
Oh, I was willing to go up to probably 60.
Oh.
If you said 2, you would have got yourself, bro. That's all I'm saying.
I feel like that would be unfair to you guys. That would make the draft easy for me.
I see. If you're willing to go up to 60, I should have bid you up then. I had no idea. Okay, I'm up next. Let me cross off some names here. So we have Setsuko crossed out, Wasian crossed out, and then Emmett Woes. Looks like we're doing a bunch of heavy hitters here. I'm gonna take Prestivant for 25. Prestivant
I'll
for
go
25.
30.
You said 30?
Yeah, 30.
31.
Fuck.
31 on Prestivant.
32.
33.
I'll go 40.
40 for Prestivant. 40 for Prestivant. Okay, I think I might be out. Anyone else?
I mean, don't make things too easy for me.
40 for Prestivant. Going once. Going twice. Ooh, sold to Showtime. Prestivant for $40. Okay, Gangly, you're up next.
Okay. Let's go Bruce for $1.
I'll put Bruce up for $10.
15.
16.
17.
18.
19.
Okay. Do you guys think Bruce is worth less than Showtime? What do you think, Bossoskills?
Probably.
I mean, Showtime's fair value is not $30. It's all I'm saying about that question.
All right, 20 for Bruce.
21.
22.
Uh, 23.
Bruce Law for 23 right now. I think I'm out for 23. Okay, Showtime, Bossoskills, nope. Going once,
Nope.
going twice. Man, you gas them up so much you didn't even make a single bid, even at $1.
I have my prospects.
Okay.
I think Boston Skills might be muted. Like this guy hasn't said anything yet.
Yeah. Bossoskills mic check.
I'm thinking about my strategy.
Okay. I mean, the strategy is the way to basically pick the rest of the field once we exhaust our money. Showtime, you're up next.
I'm gonna go with Spencer for 5.
$6 on Spencer.
I'll go 20.
21 on Spencer.
I'll go 40.
Whoa. 40 on Spencer. Emmett Woes, what do you think?
I was out at 20.
We just jumped from 1 or 5 to 20 to 40. My God. 41.
42.
43.
45.
Oh. 46. 46
50.
on Spencer. $46 on Spencer going once.
Oh, 50.
50. 51.
52.
53. Oh, gangly, these guys are kind of sweaty.
55.
Oh my God. 56. 56.
Out.
You're out at 56?
I'm out at 56.
Spencer for 56, going once. Going twice. All right.
Ooh.
Sold to me. Spencer and Wajan. Wow, I have the unholy unity.
Pretty good.
You have water
23
and oil.
bucks. All right. That means Bossoskills, you're up next to bid.
I'll go replay for 20.
I'll go
Replay
40.
20. What's up? 21?
I'll go 40.
40 from Showtime.
I'll go 45.
46.
Okay, Gangly wakes up. 46. 46 for replay. Going once?
I'll go 50.
Okay, 50. 50 from Bossoskills on replay. Showtime, all tapping, looking at all his LOL chests. Actually, no, you're not. You're looking at the screen. 50 for
He's on
replay.
Hinge.
Going once.
I'll go 52.
52. Technically, Gangly, you can bid 53. Just putting it out there.
Wait, I can?
You can.
Wait, I thought I only had
$1 left
53
for
left.
everybody else. So you'd $1 bid on everybody else.
All right, 53.
53 from Gangly. Nice. Finally, some cross bid action. Gangly gets replayed for 53. Going once. Going twice.
I'll go 54.
No.
Okay, Showtime 54 sneaks it in. Bossoskills. It's you have to be the one that buys it out then.
He can have him.
54
It's
for
over.
replay. Oh my god. Look at Showtime's roster. He's got Emmett Woes, Precedent, and replay. You feeling good, Showtime?
It's over.
That's almost a really good roster.
It's technically my bid. It's technically my bid. I'm gonna bet, or I'm gonna bid $1 on soju. $1 on K3 soju.
$2.
$3. $3 on soju.
I'm gonna bid $15 on soju.
All right, $16 on soju. I mean, it's I'm at 23 anyways. $16.
I'll bid $20 on soju.
All right, I can't match that. All right, anyone else on soju? Going once, going twice. Bossoskills takes K3 soju for $20. That's pretty good value, I'd say, relative to where everyone else is falling on the draft. I think that's pretty good, assuming you wanted him. If you don't want him, then well, okay. Gangly, you're up next.
I will say, let's go milk for $1.
Oh, 20. My max bid 20.
I'll bid 21 for milk.
I'm out.
I'm out. You can have him, bro.
Gangly.
No, I'm out.
Really? What? Okay, we're just gonna let this guy get milk for 21, or was it 20, 21? Oh, okay.
21. Who's the
It's
vitality
cooked.
manager
Oh
again?
my god, you guys are.
He's got too much money. He's got too much.
That's why you
Vitality
bid him
might
up.
need a
That's
new
why you
general
bid him up,
manager.
Gangly. Come on.
No,
Oh
I don't want
my
to get
God,
baited into
Gangly,
having
please.
milk at the end.
Oh my god. All right, Showtime. You're up next to bid.
All right. I have a few prospects here I'm debating over.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Goobums for 5.
Goobums for 5. $6 on Goobums, sure. I got Team Canada. Goobums, Spencer Wasian. Just let me have Team Canada.
Okay, I'll go 10.
Let me cross out milk here. I mean, I'll go 11 on Goobums.
You got it, bro.
Okay. Goobums for $11. Anybody else want them? Going once? Going twice? All right. That's not bad for $11. Okay. Who bid on Goobums? Showtime? All right. Bossoskills.
I'm gonna bid on Bapzera for 10.
I'm out.
I'll 11.
I'll go Bapzera for 15.
16.
You seem very eager. Yeah, I'll go Bapzera for 20.
21.
Gangly comes alive. Yeah, there it is.
24.
25.
27.
28.
28 on Bob Zera.
All yours.
Okay. That is Bab Zera for 28. Okay, I guess this is my bid, right? I'm gonna I'll take Degree for $1.
I'm gonna go 10.
All right, I'm out. I can't bid on that. Now Showtime this at 10.
Yeah.
Okay, 10 for Degree. Going once. Going twice. Sold to Showtime. Degreeness for $10. Gangly, you're up next.
Let's go Altanawe for $10.
Oh, you outbid me already. Okay, that means I'm out. So only Showtime and Bossoskills. Altanawe, $10. Going once. Going twice.
I'll go 26.
You go 26. Okay, so you're just taking Altanawe then. Okay, 26.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Showtime.
I'll go socks for 2.
Socks for $2. Bro, I don't even know if Socks is playing the game. Like, I know he qualified, but I have no idea. I'm out. Socks for $2. It could be the best pick of all time, or it could be a classic Socks. Gangly, Bossoskills, Socks for $2. Going once, going twice.
All you.
Pass. Showtime takes Socks.
It's too easy.
All right,
It's
Boss.
too
You
easy
basically
now.
have to pick your player, so you should pick your player here. Unless you don't want to, unless you want to bait us.
I'll
into
go
pick-
Mike L for 26.
Mike L for 26. All right.
Come on.
Okay, it's next up on me. I'm gonna go. Actually, let me cross out Socks here. I'm gonna bid. Wait, this is actually okay. I bid Robin songs for $1. Robin songs. No one believes in him, right?
It's
A lot of
tough.
people ranked him low. It's all good. Just let me have him for $1. It's all good, guys.
$2.
Okay, I'm out. I'm out. Going once, going twice. All right, Robin to Gangly for $2. All right, Gangly, you're up next. You have 26.
I'll take Ripple for $1.
Ripple for $1. I will. I pass. What about Showtime Bossoskills?
I pass.
Showtime? Oh, wait, you can't. You
I'll
can
pass.
14. You can 14 max bid here.
I'll pass.
Okay, Ripple for $1. Gangly just picked up 2 players on the cheap, so you can actually kind of make a big final push. Showtime, you're up next.
Okay, I'm gonna go Camberley for 14.
Okay, Cambulee for 14.
I'll go Cambuli for 25.
No.
All right. Cambulee 25 for Bossoskills. And Bossoskills, you basically have to pick your last player here.
Yeah, and I think. Oh, there's actually a few good players left, and by a few I mean a lot of good players. I think I'm gonna go VCLF for 31.
Oh, that's a good one. I wanted
Is it?
VCLF. For what? Oh, this is VCLF. For $25.
Yeah, or 31 or.
I mean, you could just let leftover bid. Okay. I mean, look at this even spread in expenditure from Bossoskills. 20, 21, 26, 26, 26, 25. All right. that puts me up next. Bob Sarah is out as well. Let me see here. Ripple's out. I'm gonna go with Asa for $1. $1 on Asa. Going once, going twice. Okay, Asa is mine for $1. Gangly, you get to basically pick who you want here.
Okay. This is tough. I think I really want to do like a homie pick here, but I think
You're not gonna bid on Appies?
I know. I wasn't
Wow.
expecting to get Ripple. I threw Ripple out so someone else would take him. So I was expecting to have an extra slot at the end.
Wait,
Wow.
you should. Okay, with your second to last slot, that's really risky.
Yeah. I just thought there's no way he doesn't get bid on for or whatever. All right, I think I need to go Ego Illusions.
Ego Illusions. Is he playing in this? I don't see his. Oh, Liquid Ego Illusions.
Liquid Ego, yeah.
For 25, you're just taking, or for 15,
Yeah.
I guess here, 14. Ego Illusions for 14. That's a really good pick. Okay, Showtime. You get to pick your last players, and I get to pick the last two.
Philip for 14.
Philip for 14. That's a curveball. I did not expect Philip at all. Okay, so I get my pick from Kurum, T-Lides, Toronto, Tokyo, Casper. When Philip is out, DQA, and no one bid on Bossoskills, huh? Weird. That is
You can have
strange.
me. I insist.
That's not weird at all. Nobody wants him.
Yeah, that is weird. Okay, I'm actually gonna go a little bit unusual here. I'm gonna go with people who I think are really good at this type of meta and doing well. So I'm gonna go a little bit off the beaten path here. My first pick is gonna be Forsen Smurf account. I think he's actually really good at reroll metas, in particular. So I'm gonna go $1 on him. And he made it to Worlds, and I just think that this guy, like, he just knows how to like excel in this kind of meta. Oh man, and now it comes down to whether or not I want Toronto, Tokyo versus the guy that I actually feel like I should pick. My gut instinct is just telling me to pick it. Yeah, I'm gonna send it. I'm gonna go with fellow professional TFT coach DPay for my last pick here.
Oh,
It's I don't know why,
That's
but like
hot.
there's a little bit of my gut that says that, like, I think that these guys just kind of have the sauce. Because I see a lot of people working hard, and then these guys, I just feel like they're gonna excel. Team over 40, yeah, exactly. I got the old people.
I think Froden actually might have the youngest team on average.
Really? Oh,
Well,
Spencer
and you
Wisner
have
pretty
two.
young.
You have two people under 20. I don't know. Is Spencer 20?
I think he's like 20,
I don't know.
22, 21,
he's got to be
22.
21.
Yeah, he's got 20 by now. He was
All right.
young and like cut 4.
I think Forsen Smurf account is under 20, and then Wasian is like 20 or 21. So
Got it. All right, how are we feeling about our teams, real quick? Before we have a second we have a special we have a second segment to this, but how are we feeling about it? About who do you guys think has the best team, chat?
Man, this drafting stuff is not easy, man. It's so
not.
easy to
No, it's not.
backseat when you're watching.
Yeah.
I really liked Bosso's strategy. I think
Yeah, me
Bosso was
too.
really clever.
All right. Don't gas him up too much.
I mean, I think he kind of fell off at the end, but it's like it's fine. I think
Wait, what? Just say you hate Cambly, man.
no, dude. I'm not gonna say it. Never mind. I've
Just say
gotten
you
enough.
hate BCLF.
That I mean, anyone who watched Frodan's co-stream, I was a known VCLF disbeliever.
Oh
going to
yeah, I
regionals.
mean, Gangly actually predicted he would go dead last, and he did. So, but I think there's a lot of good LATAM and Brazil talent, but there's almost like too much NA talent, I think. And this is a different meta. It's a different set. It doesn't reward the usual skill sets that you got that I think traditionally are. That's why I'm thinking a little differently here. Okay, so we have a second portion of fantasy draft that we started doing differently, and that is bonus kickers, and it was popular, so we're bringing it back. So this is a way for you to make up basically one player's worth of points if they do well. 40 points up for grabs, okay? We're going to take turns going one at a time. So the first, how many NA reps make it to the final lobby? We'll start off with Gangly.
I'm going to say, do you have the overall spread? I'm gonna say 6.
Okay, 6. Showtime.
7.
Bossoskills.
6.
Okay, I'm gonna go with 5. Okay, second question. Showtime, you're gonna go first. Does
All
a
right.
Brazilian player top any day of the weekend? They have to get first, either day
Nope.
1, 2, or 3. No.
No, definitely not.
Bossoskills.
No.
No. I'm gonna say yes. Gangly.
No.
Okay, this is the opportunity to make some points up. All right. Question number 3. Give me a sec here. Will anyone this event get 3 firsts in a row? Bossoskills.
Yes.
Yes. I am going to say yes. Gangly.
Yes.
Showtime.
Yeah.
Okay. Never mind. Then that's just a wash. Okay. And perhaps the most important question. Who places higher? Bossoskills or Showtime? Gangly.
Bosso.
What?
Instant call
Wait, what?
Bossoskills.
What just
Showtime.
happened? That's the easy. Me. That's the easy. This
Showtime.
is like a.
Basso.
Bossoskills. Oh man, it's really hard. It's really hard to go against Bossoskills' roster, man. I'm gonna have to do it. Bossoskills for my answer as well.
I mean, the stats don't lie. It was 5.1 versus 4.6. How do you take those odds?
Wait, this was supposed to be like a 3-point question, and then like nobody got it right.
It's a 3-point question.
No,
all
I
right.
mean, I'm actually doing this because I feel like it sets up for the best story because you're the one who believed in yourself the most. So, all right. What if Bossoskills ints? No, I mean, come on, man, you can't do that. You guys have to play your best. You guys have to play your best, obviously.
I don't think my incentives would align with.
I don't think Bossoskills playing his best would matter.
My
Bossoskills' best isn't very good.
Oh, I forgot to show you guys the announcement graphics. But Tactician Cup is this weekend. It starts tomorrow. Some people thought it starts Saturday. It actually starts tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Make sure you guys show up. I'll be co-streaming it. I got a couple guests lined up. Most of my guests are actually playing in this event. If you're interested in co-streaming, reach out to me. Maybe we can set some time up. Rainplosion will be joining me. Keegan will be joining me. CLA will be joining me. I think Dishlope's passing for this weekend because he's not going to be doing any TFT. Gangly, you're welcome to join if you want to as well. But here are all the co-streamers. They'll be here. Twitch.tv/Rodan. All right. With that, thank you for another wonderful episode, guys. It's been really fun having you. Let's get some final thoughts here. Bossoskills. Let's start off with you.
Wait, final thoughts on what? I mean, I'm gonna win the fantasy draft. I think that's pretty clear. Like the chat said it was 55% Bossoskills when you consider there's 4 players. Pretty obvious who did the best job. The draft also felt pretty easy. But I think that's because there are like a lot of good players, to be honest. So it's like, you know, once I sort of had the point majority, it was actually hard to figure out like who I didn't want on my team because there are just too many people to draft, and like there was no point constraint at all on me. But yeah, I think it's pretty interesting. Like, I wanted to try the strategy because I saw like some people kind of try it on some of the DTIYDKs, and like some people didn't try it, but we'll see how that goes. And I think it's pretty obvious that I'll probably outplace Showtime. So.
No, you won't, bro. No, you won't.
All right. Really appreciate it. And by the way, if for whatever reason something crazy goes on, just feel free to join the co-stream if things aren't falling your way.
I would love to, but I don't think that's going to happen, unfortunately. You should extend that offer to Showtime, though. That might apply a little bit more too.
I'm not gonna get outplaced by you. You suck, bro. You suck.
All right. Showtime. Final words.
I feel like like if you just look at the DTIYDK draft, I feel like it's clear edge on my side. I feel like replays actually like he should be going for 70. So I feel like that's a steal. I should be going for 60. That's a steal. And I feel like if you think about it that way, like I don't even understand how I could be ranked lower than someone who isn't even drafted. Like Bossoskills wasn't even willing to spend $1 on himself. Like how can you pick him over me?
That is, I
Well,
mean,
there
those
was
are
only
some
one
damning
person
final
willing to
words.
spend money on yourself.
True.
Yeah, this extends my streak of appearing on DTIYDK with another tri-state member. Bosso may have left New York, but he'll always be tri-state.
Wait,
Um,
you're not in New York anymore? Where are you?
No, I'm in California now.
You're West Coast.
I grew up here, so yeah.
I had no idea. That's cool. Well, welcome to the West Coast.
this guy griefs his own qualifier in the tri-state versus Toronto crew battle, so we don't get to use him, and then he just moves out of the state, so now he can never play for us. It's actually a horrible team kill. But
amazing.
I do think, in terms of draft, I think people are forgetting that there is one player, the only player in the history of North America to have a better AVP over the course of an entire set than Setsuko, and that player is Robin Songs, and I got him for $2.
I thought you were saying it for Solus, like because Solus didn't get drafted. You did
No,
Solus, you did Spicy Appies, you did all
I
your
know.
mainstays, and now you got the new sexy Bruce. I get it, but yeah, you ditched. Just let it be. Let any player know on the record that Gangly will gas you up for a set and a half, and he'll drop you for the next hottest thing.
You're out of here. That's right.
You guys missed any part of this episode? Check out our content over at youtube.com/@DTIYDK, or if you want the audio version, we're on Spotify and Anchor. You can check out that. A big thank you to my mods. Big thank you to people who help edit the show, Yenwei. And we'll be back next week with the best performers. I mean, hey, maybe Showtime wins. We'll have to invite him back. We'll see.
I'll see you next week, bro.
See you next week. From Gangly, Rodan, Showtime, Bossoskills, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time for more TFT action. Have a good night.